It's been a month since I posted, and I have struggled to complete the tasks I wanted for this episode, particularly in making the bow work. It has a lot of things that are needed to be done for it to work properly, and this is where I am right now. I will come to the bow later. Before that, let's see what I have done till now. Firstly, I needed something to shoot. So I started by writing some code that will pop a bunch of objects in random positions. Let's try 100. Should I add one more zero? Okay, one more. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Now I only need balls, so I made some balls pop on the screen and made them bounce using physics material. They are bouncing nicely, but if they bounce only in one direction, it will not be fun to shoot them. So I needed to add some force so that they bounce in different directions, right? Before adding force to them, I should make some walls, otherwise they will just fall right off the ground. I made the walls, but now I faced one problem. The balls would fall from the front side. If I made a wall in the front, the player will not be able to see as well as shoot the balls. The solution was pretty simple though. I used the plane to make it work. Objects collide with planes on one side only. So I used one part for ball collision and one part from where the player will shoot the arrows. I removed the mesh from plane as I only needed the object for collision. This is not final, but for testing this much should be fine. Now it is time for me to make the bow. I started by getting some assets from the Unity asset store for the bow and arrow and pasted them onto a project. I wrote some code and now the arrow works. Actually, it does not. After shooting some arrows, I realized arrows are not supposed to go in one direction. They should first go backward and then move forward. Without the backward movement, how can I justify that force is being added to the arrow, right? That just defied common sense. This is the part where I almost spent 3 days figuring it out. What I did before in the code was, the game will check if the required key is pressed and it will check for how much time the key was pressed. According to the duration of the key is pressed, it will calculate the charge for the arrow. So that basically means if less charge is there, less force will be added, and as a result, the arrow will travel in less direction. If the opposite is done, if more charge is added, then it will have just the opposite effect. After struggling a lot, I dissected all the things that are needed to be done and did it step by step. So this function will make the arrow pop, and I also disabled gravity when it popped, otherwise the arrow will fall right off. This function will make the arrow go backward, which demonstrates force is being added and then calculates the force. This function makes the arrow go forward. I enabled gravity again and added the forward force to the arrow. This is how, with the help of 3 functions and some code, I can perform 3 different things using only one button. Amazing, right? At the start, I thought it will be very easy to make a bow and arrow work. But when I started making it, I realized it is actually pretty difficult. It had a lot of individual elements that was needed to be taken care of. Now also there are some things for the bow to be perfect. The arrow will just move in different directions when I hold the key. The bow does not point to where the crosshair is. I also have to make the string of the bow. For now, it just remains still. So this is it for the episode. Now I know it seems pretty less for a month of work, but I am a pretty lazy guy. I need to do work on myself too. So see you on the next episode.